Hey guys, what's up? It's me again today. I'm back with another video of my workouts, but today I'm not going to work out. I just want to specify one thing before I start. My other videos might have seemed like I was explaining fast, and looking upon them, I understand that the concept that I said, that I've mentioned into those videos might be hard to understand for the most of you, and I apologize for that, for not taking really the time to explain them as I was working out at the same time. It came on the spot and I was working out on the same time, so I wanted to get focused on my workout, but basically the principles I mentioned are pretty much exact. So the point is, you probably noticed in my last workout that I didn't explain how to do deadlifts or any specific exercise, for the reason being that in most videos that's what they do. They're going to explain you how an exercise is done and how you do a specific exercise, the form. They're going to tell you, for example, with deadlift, well, you put yourself in a seated position, in a finished squat position, and you keep your back straight, you look up, and you just pull the bar in a straight line. They're going to tell you this, right? They're going to explain to you the deadlift like that, but what they don't explain is the importance of your initial position and understanding how you position yourself and stand in terms of respecting that straight line, that energetic line that every body, like I explained last time, that line that goes from the top tip of your head in between and that goes down all along your core and ends in between your 2 feet. It's an imaginary line that you don't see, but the center of it, the center of every line, is where it is the strongest. It's the center, the extremities, it's where the energy dissipates out. When you bend a steel bar, the energy is here, it's less solid, and the center is all where the strength is. The shorter it is, the more that energy is all accumulated there, not dissipated in the extremities. It's the same thing with a body. That's why tall people, by the way, a note like that, that's why tall people, by the way, might not have like efficient squats if they're made lean and they don't have those hips and that core that keeps them really centralized to the ground, so they get all that energy compacted here, all that the muscularity, the bone, the tendons, the ligaments here are not all, the strength is not all focused on their core. That's why when they squat, their legs are kind of shifting and they're kind of wobbly with their legs. That means the energy dissipates and they can't sustain the weight. And it starts all from how much energy is kept at the core while you stand straight and you keep that strong posture, chest out, your lower back slightly bent, legs straight. Okay, so coming back to the point is, what they don't mention to you about deadlift is that there's a secret key component when you do deadlift that makes it all essential for you to respect the laws of physics that abide to that straight, that perpendicular line to the ground principle I've explained to you, that it's a basic law of physics. So if you notice well, when you deadlift, what they don't tell you is that they tell you to keep your back straight, but when you keep your back straight, look what it does. At a certain point, the weight, it's going to go forward and it's going to bend your back like that. So you lose all the momentum and you start being wobbly and shaking on all sides, which the shaking, by the way, doesn't concentrate the energy within, it dissipates the energy outside. So that's why you lose strength, you lose power, you lose momentum, and psychologically you're all destabilized and you lose focus. So that's another key point. Your psychological biorhythm, meaning that your psychology has to be in sync and focused on keeping that posture, that form, that position, and on giving you the necessary emotions to believe and visualize that you will actually make the lift. But that's another point for another video. Coming back to the deadlift. If you lift the weight in a straight and you don't actually, you keep your hips just as you keep your back straight, which means that your hips are pulled backwards, the weight's going to go forward. At a certain point, you're not going to succeed into the lift. The heavier you get, the more it's probable that that's what it's going to occur. So when you do deadlift or squats, but now that I'm mentioning deadlift, it's for deadlifts. Squat is going to be in another video. This is what happens. You notice I asked this girl once, I asked her if she could show me how you do belly dancing. And she showed me, right? There's that one thing that we often forget is that your core, see, it actually tilts. You can actually tilt it. You can actually move it sideways, tilt it forward. It tilts. Okay, it sounds funny, it sounds very sexual, but that's not the point. The point is this as you lift has to tilt, right? And if you can tilt it anytime you want, it's only having that conscious mind focused on that tilting, and the body's going to fire all the neurons that you need to get it tilted, right? So when you deadlift, it's basically like that. As you get the weight up, you see, you got to tilt. See what happens? You get the weight up, and as you get it up, your lower back has to do, there needs to be that slight bend in it. Your lower back needs to be bent like this. It needs to be bent somewhat in a 10-degree arch. So, what happens is that your core is going to be stable, and all the energy is going to be centralized around the core, as opposed if you keep a straight back, the energy dissipates along the straight back. The energy dissipates along the straight back, and you won't succeed in the lift. So when you deadlift and you tilt your hip forward, you get your back. You see the weight stays close to the body, and the body's focused on pulling the weight in a straight line, and then you lock out, keeping that bent. Your chest stays stuck out. Your chest stuck out, not straight like this. Straight like this, you're going to be wobbly. If you keep that bent and that lower back bend, and you stick your chest out, it's going to maintain that bend, and you're going to be solid with the weight. It's not going to move because all the energy is focused at maintaining the weight. And then you deposit the weight normally, maintaining that same posture and getting back to a posture where your hips are less tilted backwards. Also the tilt, I'm putting emphasis on the tilt because the tilt also allows you to recruit all the necessary muscle fibers and muscle tissues essential to maximize the weight pulling and the straight line effect, which I'll explain in another video what that effect is. The straight line effect you need to have to pull maximal weight when you deadlift. And it's also very helpful to involve the necessary tendons, the joints that aren't usually involved if you would do deadlift in a very bad posture. Because centralizing that energy at your core, your hip level, your core level, and your quads, hamstring level, you centralize it by tilting your hips backwards and having that slight bend at your lower back. And it's all centralized there, and all the tendons are going to get involved by natural physiological reflex to help you lift as much weight as you can. So that's why that position is all the position you need to know. That's what our bodybuilders do it on all those on YouTube videos that you guys watch often, probably, and all the strongman videos that you can watch or strongman trainings or competitions. If you notice these guys lift, they do it naturally without thinking about it because the body has that adaptation mechanism to actually go through hard work by adapting to the hard work, which I'll explain in another video coming up in the upcoming weeks. So basically, to reiterate, and then I close up the video with that, to reiterate, you do deadlifts, when you position yourself at the bottom, it's as if you sit on a chair. You're already in a position where you're ready to tilt your hip, your back is straight. As you go up, you tilt your hip, and as you tilt it, you get straight with the bar and you pull up. Your chest is going to be sticking out naturally, which a lot of people recommend that you do when you do a very effective deadlift. You're going to have the chest stuck out, your lower back bent, holding the weight in your hands, and then you deposit. And just to emphasize on the grip, you take one in pronation, one in supination, you extend as much as you can and then you twist to kind of screw in the grip. To get that screw effect on your grip. You're going to get that vice-like grip initially. I'll explain to you on another video, obviously, more specifically about the grip. But then you get your position like this, the grip as I told you, and then and all the other details considered are done, they're checked, and then you go down and you deposit in the same manner. That's how you do a perfect deadlift. For today guys, that's going to be it. I wish you a great day. Live strong and powerful.